Today is August 27th, 2025, and this is our 5 o'clock Franklin County Fiscal Court work session. And I am going to ask everybody to join me to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, there's a lot of people here. Is Father Peter here by any chance? Oh, there he is. Hey, come on up. He's going to be doing a blessing for us tonight. Welcome.
Thank you, Judge. I have to admit, I just came from looking at my phone and seeing the school shooting at Annunciation Church. As I pray, I'm not addressing this body. The things I'm going to say are not, I'm trying to shame you all or anything like that, but let us pray. God, I have two things to pray about very briefly, because I know time is short. One, I would ask that the people who make school shootings like this possible, through their neglect or through their foolishness, would have to be down on the front lines with the rest of us, picking up bodies and preaching funerals. Yeah, please do that. It would be nice if we didn't shoot our children anymore. Secondly, I lift up this fiscal court to you. I give you thanks for the work that they have done all year, the excellent work that they have done in our community. I ask that you will give them the wisdom to do what needs to be done with many needs and limited resources, guide their listening and their actions, and please bless them. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much for being here tonight. So we're going to switch one thing around. I'm going to invite Chief Brewer to come up. So, Chief, how you doing tonight?
Doing good.
You got a couple things going on, huh?
A few things, if you see the agenda. So the first thing I want to do is recognize some upcoming retirements. It's kind of a sad day for the fire department because we're losing some great guys, great experience, but a very, very joyous thing for them to be able to make it to retirement. There's a lot of guys who go their whole career, bouncing around different places, different things to really lock in and have these guys commit to their whole careers to Franklin County has been a blessing, and they've served great. So first one I want to call up is Shannon McElroy.
He's like, is that me?
Maybe he's thinking about not retiring. He was a little reserved there, you know?
He's like most of us. He's kind of shy on the public stuff. But Shannon has been in the department just shy of 20 years. He's one of our best operators of equipment. He can operate anything. If it's got joysticks or steering wheels, he can drive it, he can move it, and has always been a great pump operator. So I want to recognize him. Next up, I have Captain Jonathan Moore. Jonathan has been with the department a little over 20 years. He's been an excellent mentor to a lot of the young guys. Him and I started about 5 months apart, so we've kind of come up through the department together, and just being able to see the changes over the 20 years has been great, and he's been heavily involved in a lot of the changes. So I want to recognize him, and also Assistant Chief Mike Other. This one here is going to be a tough one because nobody on the department knows what this department's like without Mike. He's been on 27 years, and he has been the right-hand man for me as Assistant Chief. We've been able to accomplish a lot of great things, so I just want to bring them forward. We have a small gift for them.
It's never too early to do this.
And also, I want to give them just a moment to bring their family up. Because
Yep.
their family, deals with this just as much as they do. They have to put up with the odd shifts, the hours, the child care issues. So
I was going to say, if the families of each individual want to come up and do pictures, that would be nice. And I just want to say on behalf of Franklin County, we thank all you gentlemen for your service. I know it takes a lot. It's as Chief kind of alluded to, it's a lot about your families, letting you do what you love to do. And so it's a dangerous, dangerous job. So we appreciate it very much, what you all have donated to Franklin County. So best of luck in your retirement days. Squire Harry?
I just want to say that's about 70 years of experience. that's leaving the department. Think about that. You know, Mr. Oaker's probably pushing 30 years, 20 with the other. I've worked with these guys for over 20 years, and when you lose that much experience at one time, it's felt, so good luck filling their shoes.
It's gonna be tough, but we got guys that are eager to take that on, that's for sure.
Chief, do you and Dawn want to take a picture with the gentleman? Actually, why don't the court get behind everybody? Why don't we get behind them, the
We can get
court?
one group one, then
Yeah, we'll get group one, then we can do individual families, that'd be great.
Are you ready to do this first?
Just a little bit.
Still true. Some true, not some true.
And me. I was gonna say, yeah, you probably need to scooch up and try to find a window. I don't see, Squire, yeah.
Y'all stay there.
Yeah, y'all stay, you're fine. Yeah, everybody else just kinda, 1, 2, 3. We're gonna do 1 or 2 more, 1, 2, and 3. All right, maybe we'll do one from this angle too. Here we go, 1, 2, and 3. That's a little better. 1, 2, and 3. All right, perfect.
Chief, do you want to get individual families up there some pictures?
Yes.
Great.
Captain Moore, if you want to call your family up.
Right here, 1, 2, and 3. We're gonna take a couple more. 1, 2, and 3. One last time. 1, 2, and 3.
Better.
I know she's boss. You know what I'm saying. This is Aaron Ford, my wife. Landon, my little man, and then my older kid, the senior this year, is Jacob. Your family up?
I got it.
All right, guys, look right here. We're gonna do a couple. 1, 2, and 3. One more. 1, 2, and 3. And one last time. 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. This is the best part of the meeting, so I'd go ahead and leave, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Get you
That's one thing. Thank you all for letting us recognize them. You know, it's a big loss for the department, like I say, but good day for them. So they'll
You want to scoot that forward some more, Andrew? I think it's kind of back a little.
be able to move on to their next chapter
Yeah.
and write their next book. So,
Yep.
all right, thank you.
Chief, on a personal note, sorry to hear about your grandfather. Just wanted to
Thank you, I
raise you,
appreciate
push it up. So his grandfather passed away, so
Thank you.
sorry about your loss. Okay, before we get to public comments, Max, could you go ahead and do what you do, please?
As we've stated before, at this time, we won't be able to take any public comments regarding either the recommendation to approve or decline any zone changes that are currently pending before the court.
Thank you, sir. Is there any public comments that don't have to do with the public comments, the public zoning hearing tonight? Already seeing none, I believe.
Go on the record that I disagree with that, and I want it in the minutes.
Okay. I believe the extension, Philip, is that you? please, oh, and Carla's here. Go ahead and state who you all are and who you're with and all those good things.
Hi, I'm Philip Morgan. I'm the chairman of the Extension Board for the Extension Office.
For what county?
Franklin County, of course.
I got you. It's a very hard task. I'm Carla Carter. I'm Family Consumer Science Agent for Franklin County Cooperative Extension Office. I'm also the Fiscal Coordinator.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Well, the Extension Board met this month, and we unanimously voted to take the compensating rate for the taxes this year, and that would be 2% for the personal property and 2% for the real property.
Alrighty. Any questions from the court on this presentation? I just want to thank you all for everything you do. You know, the Extension Office is a huge thing in our community, especially for our children, for, you know, our elders. I mean, there are cooking classes. I went to the 4-H camp this year and never thought I would. That was a little different, but it's amazing everything that you all do. So I just want to say on behalf of Franklin County, thank you for your involvement. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. And before we go, let me just give you a quick update. Just to let you know, we had our annual homemaker meeting on Monday, and our homemakers volunteered 14,956 hours, which at the volunteer rate of $34.78, we saved Franklin County $520,319.24. So that is to be commended. As Judge said, we took 200 humans, and that's what Mackenzie called them, to 4-H camp, and we thank Judge Mueller for attending, so at least he knows where our tax dollars are going. And we had a successful Farm City Field Day this year, having it at night. A lot of people really enjoyed it. The KSU Farm allowed us to work our 1890 land grant cooperation, so we appreciate everybody and you all and our assisting with tax dollars. And also, let me say, we are the second extension office to obtain a long arm machine, and that might not be a big deal to some of you all, but for our homemakers and ladies that quilt with Birdsong Closing in Georgetown, we are the second office to have one, and so we couldn't do it if it wasn't for you all. So thank you so much.
And it took them at least 4 hours to tell me what a long arm machine was.
I wasn't going to ask. Woof, going right over the head. I'm with you, though.
Quilting machine.
I figured that out, but
So
yeah,
it's a Kentucky
yeah.
heritage skill that we need to keep here.
Yeah,
So-
I was going to let it just lie. All right, any other questions while they're here? All right, thank you all very much. Have a good evening.
Thank
you.
All righty. Next, I believe I see Gene. Library, come on up. Please state who you are and who's with you and what's going on tonight.
I am Jean Rourke. I'm the director of the Paul Sawyer Public Library, and this is Carolyn Lynch, our board president.
Nice to meet
And
you.
I'm here to present the tax rate, but I'm going to talk about the library just briefly before I do that, so you have an idea of why this is so important. We do workforce development, technology, arts and culture, youth and families. So this year, we did a tech program, TECH, Technology Education for the Community and the Home. And that was with a grant from the Public Library Association for computers and education. So we did, I think we had 16 students who took part in that, and then they all received a laptop at the end of that. So they got basic computer education and then a laptop so that they could improve their skills and hopefully join the workforce in a more substantial way. So that was a really wonderful pilot program that we hope we'll be able to do again with more grant funds in the future. We work with the Kentucky Career Center. We provide basic computer classes. There for a while, everybody knew what Word was, and now we're finding that there is more demand for that. So our digital services librarian is teaching Word and Excel and even just basic computer education, how to type on a keyboard, because some of us, me included, never learned how to type correctly. So we are really trying to provide what the community needs. And if you ever see our VR, our virtual reality programs advertised, you really should give it a shot. I don't know if you've ever tried VR, but it is really cool. And so we do offer that for free. We do that several times a year. And Dalton Bennett, our digital services librarian, comes up with these really cool scenarios for us to do. Some of them are literary, some are just pure entertainment. But sign up for those. It's really fun. So we are expanding our arts and culture offerings too. So we've had visual exhibits in cooperation with the Kentucky Arts Council. We are going to be part of the Louisville Photo Biennial starting Friday. For the next 2 months, we'll have a photo exhibit from a photographer in Louisville, but we are part of the biennial, so we'll be getting some folks who are traveling around to all these satellite places outside of Louisville, which is part of this exhibit. And we were invited to take part of that thanks to Penny Peebler this year. We are going to be starting Sunday concerts, so our first one will be in October. So look for that. We'll be doing more of those as well. And of course, we have Story by Story, which is our storytelling series. We have 2 more months for that this year, and that picks up again in March of 2026 and runs through October. So once a month, we have a national storyteller subsidized by our local treasurer, Mary Hamilton, but that's a really special thing that we've been doing now for 3 years. So that will continue next year. We also have the Frankfurt Heritage Lecture Series. We have something every month. Sometimes we have a pop-up event for that as well. And if you're really into reading, we have a book group for just about anybody. I lead a nonfiction group if you like that kind of thing, so I'd be happy to have you join me. And then our youth and family. I don't know if you go out to any event in the county or the city, you're going to see the library there. And most of those are our youth services folks, but we have made it a commitment to be out where people are, and that's part of our vision for the future of the library, is taking the library out, because we all know that there are demands on people's time, and we're going to catch them a little more easily if we go where they are, and then we'll drag them into the building. But we believe in outreach. We believe in meeting people where they are. So you'll see our youth services staff and some of our adult services staff out at just about any event in the county. And we cooperate with all of the local schools with programming, and that programming is a pretty broad range. We have an outreach youth librarian who goes out to daycares, and we have an adult outreach librarian who goes out to and services folks who can't get into the library, who drops off books and things for them and goes to assisted living and nursing homes. So we are really trying to be everything that we can be to the community. And in doing that, I'm happy to say that the board decided on August 12th to take the compensating rate, which is 7.3%, which is 0.3% less than it was last year. And last year we took less than the compensating rate. So I think that's a testament to what's happening in our county, that our rate is dropping because we're getting approximately the same amount of money, but the tax rate is going down because the tax base is going up. And I think that's a wonderful thing for Franklin County, and we sure appreciate that, the support of everyone who is a property owner here, but it's nice to see those rates lower. So, and I want to brag too.
Would you like to say anything? You've come all this way. You want to hop in?
Oh, well, isn't it a nice thing that I get to do to be president of the library board? I mean, yeah, and support the good work that Jean does.
Yeah.
So it's my pleasure and honor to do that. So.
Jean, have your new board members started?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they were we got them all sworn in.
Good.
So they're all ready to go.
Good, good, good.
Thank you.
All righty. Any questions for the library? Squire Wisman.
Gene, thanks for being with us and giving a great report. I've been asking somewhat to everybody that's coming, making a presentation on taxes or anything else. Are there any federal programs or anything you all had recoiled, pulled back, or any gaps in financing that you think may be coming up that we need to consider?
We are fortunate in that the federal grants that we received come through KDLA, and they are for additional programming. So most of our operational costs are provided locally through our property and tangible taxes. So we aren't anticipating a huge drop in our direct funding. those cuts will affect the Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives more directly than they will us. And they provide support to us. So they provide consulting, they provide book kits, they provide a lot of services. They also disseminate grants from the federal government for programs that we have benefited from in the past, but we don't require those for our basic operating. So while it's a serious thing that we have to look at, it will not affect us likely directly in a major way.
So no individual programs that you're not able to offer
No.
this next year that
No.
you have in the past? Okay,
No.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Next is Mr. Bill Cole, no stranger to the Fiscal Court. How you doing tonight, Bill?
I'm doing fine. How are you, Judge?
Doing well, thank you. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Judge, and thank you, members of the court, for letting me appear before you and ask that the court allow amendments to our bond issue amendments have to be made in November that will let us have $1.5 million to do major renovation in the Grand Theater. The documents you have from me show that we would do that. The bond issue matures in 2032. We would actually pay off the bonds early, even doing that. I think we've done good stewardship, and then we made some adjustments during COVID, and then in 2020, that slowed down some payments because we weren't sure on what the receipt of the revenues would be, but they're back, and we can do that, and we will be able to pay those bonds off early. I think the Grand Theater, you all caused it to happen in 2006 when you authorized these bonds and made it possible for us to do that. And we do need your help again at this time. At that time, I'd become president of the Grand and viewed it as a potential significant attraction in Franklin County. I think we've proven that it is that. Next Saturday, we have Marty Stewart, a sold-out show. Ken Burns in the PBS documentary said if there was a president of country music, it would be Marty Stewart. We have these two women, Rising Appalachia, that they've sold tickets in 12 states, including New York, New Jersey, and that. We had 4,000 people that come from out of county. We fill the restaurants. We keep people at home that went to Lexington and Louisville more, that now affected by income is here. We bring more people from Lexington and Louisville. We think we've proven that we do have a great value in this community. You may have seen in the paper, we have been raising money for our endowment because I'm 76. My goal this end of next year that I will be a much less important person in the Grand Theater operation. For the Grand, that needs to happen, not just for me. But we're going to add talent. We've got a young woman, Stacy Barnes, here, who's working for us in development and fundraising, who is going to help us make all that happen. We do need, we're raising that money, the challenge match, but we do need to do this renovation. The theater was open in 2009, so it's 16 years since we opened the theater. I know no way, and I can assure you, I've given my energies and much of my life since 2004 when I became president of this organization to make it work, but to get another $1.5 million, it's something that I don't want to use the word easily about a significant amount of money, but it's something that we can do and that we can still honor our commitment to you all and then pay the bonds off early, and perhaps there's another project in the central city that you all want to do. Thank you all so much. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
So I do want to let the court know that Bill came to a finance meeting. We talked this through. Could you, real quick, before we take questions, what exactly would the $1.5 million be used for?
Well, I've got a little paragraph about it.
Just so anybody watching.
Our sound equipment is analog. It's antiquated. Our lighting system is not LED. That's what our HVAC units. Some of you all who were here, they were put by helicopter on a roof. I think they're up $200 and something thousand for those. All those things are what we would be doing, replacing the seats. They were donated by Regal Entertainment in 2005 to us. and they've been in our possession for 20 years now. It would be basically a complete do-over that would let us do another 16 years. And as I said, and the bonds be paid off early, and then you all in the central city could do something else. I didn't mention that I did make this presentation and the amortization schedule to the Finance Committee that you see tonight. Fifth Third has committed to do that, but we do need to bring documents to you all next month. I don't need a vote, but I need to know you all hopefully are positively toward this project and will do it for us.
So the court knows our treasurer, Amy Quatman, was in that meeting with Bill and the finance with Squire Dykes, Squire Sebastian, and myself. What questions do we have for Mr. Cole tonight? None. I'm just going to say thank you for all you do. You know, I mean, I think the grant has proven to be an essential part of our community. I mean, the acts that you all get, it's just amazing. So we are all very fortunate for your vision and dream, because you had a big part in it. I know it takes a team effort, but you definitely were in the forefront. So
we just got a 4-3 vote in 2006 from you all. Hopefully we have I hope everybody believes in us now. Anyway.
Squire Wisman, do you have a hand up?
Yeah, just a couple of things. I just think it's important, maybe we mentioned that these aren't local tax dollars. These are paid for by the hotel, transient room tax, by people visiting community. I've heard that misconception before, that you all are paying local tax dollars to the theater, and that's not the case. So
this
is supported by that. But Bill, I wanted to ask, you had in here a schedule for those, if we approve a schedule for those things to be done next year. Could you talk about when the theater would be out of commission effectively?
We would close on January 16. We have the American Spiritual Ensemble, Dr. Everett McCorvey at UK, and the singers, Negro Spirituals, that we will have, and then we will close, and we hope, we've got a contractor, a construction manager who's experienced it. We're going to schedule this so that hopefully in that 3 months we can complete the
that's spring, so you're only going to be closed.
Yeah, that's our goal. Now, that's a challenging thing, because we got to take everything out of the theater, put everything new back in, and be ready to go.
Squire Tanner?
Well, he answered some of my questions, and I wasn't in a meeting, but I was wondering about any structural changes rather than just the lights and the sound system, which would not be very visible, but the seats, are there more or less seats, or is any other changes to the atmospheres, et cetera?
Mainly, it's to make it better, but to use the building. We're not tearing up walls and doing that kind of thing, but we want a better sound system, we want better lighting, a better experience, hopefully a little better on the concession stand side. We have some, if we went into detail, some problems in how things work, but overall, I mean, we think the theater is what it should be. If you had thoughts about what we ought to do that we're not doing.
I have no thoughts.
Yeah, but we want to keep the number of seats because we need to sell the seats. We still have to generate we generate most of our revenue, 60%, through the sale of tickets. That's not common for a lot of theaters, but of course we have to do that because we have to fix things and insure things. We don't have a city owning our buildings like in Lexington and Louisville and taking care of them.
So the seating capacity would not change?
If it does, it is nominal. It's, maybe a few seats. We do have some issues about that we might need 4 or 5 larger seats. There is a change in the size of some of our audience, and but that we hope we can do that within.
We're going to let that one lie too.
What's that?
We're all going to let that one lie.
Well, but it could be we have 424 instead of 428 at the end of this, something like that. That's all, though, that we really do need to have our seats and sell the seats. Is anything else?
I believe that's it. Any other questions or comments from Mr. Cole? Bill, thank you.
So we're going to try to be on the agenda with some documents next month. Thank you all.
Sounds good. Thank you. Alrighty. Next, Duke Wilburn, I believe, our road superintendent, is up. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you. Just like to update the court on what the road crews have been up to last couple of weeks. Been doing a little guardrail work, mainly out on Scruggs Lane. We plant board had to take out some trees in a curve, and we had to go in and put in some guardrail to keep people from driving off the cliff, so that turned out pretty good. Actually, yeah, we actually, I'm sorry? It was a safety concern. It was. It was dangerous. And you couldn't really tell without, the trees that were there before, so. The trees were there, you couldn't tell, they were gone. Right. Yeah, so, and we did remove some guardrail up at the park, down at the pulling track, so we can do a little dirt work down there. Hopefully this fall, make it a little better. Had to mow trim out, just about every day. Of course, roadside mowing. Been working up country lane on those light poles. We did get all the ditching done. 90% of the backfilling done. The plant board laid the conduit for us, so.
So I'm gonna go ahead and jump on that one. So if you all remember, the court approved doing some lights in Squire Blackburn's area off Country Lane. They've been working on for 10 years or something. The homeowner association said that they would upgrade the lights and pay the difference. We approved all that. Since some of our staff is kind of new and hasn't really done light poles before, we didn't think about boring and things like that. Duke said the road's pretty new, I don't want to cut it. So I just want to say a special thank you to Duke and his team, because they were able to work with the Farmdale Water Department, I believe, and they had a little machine where they were able to bore themselves under the road and save us a ton of money and not have to cut the road. So thank you for that, Duke.
Worked
That
out
was
real
a big
well.
save.
Yeah.
So.
We are waiting on final inspection for the fuel tanks. But Actera did get a hold of Fire Marshal today, and they're trying to schedule a final inspection, so expect it to be within the next week, and we'll be operational on that, so that's a good thing.
So then I want to let the court know the additional pole barn that we approved has been built, I believe.
That is
We're waiting on the paving company to come and fine tune around that, correct?
Yeah, he'll be here, he told me he'd be here on the 2nd, so next Tuesday.
Yeah. So we will
To
be,
get that wrapped up.
Jenny will be contacting all of you all, and we'll figure out when we can do a nice ribbon cutting for that facility for one of the biggest, capital improvements Franklin County's done in a long time. Squire Sebastian.
Thank you, Judge. Can you tell us if the contractor from Oklahoma that set the fuel tanks, do they have to come in and be part of the inspection?
They are coming
How
back.
many times have they been in and out?
Just
Because
once.
just
They've been here once,
All right.
for 2 days. And then they'll come back to meet the fire marshal to do the final inspection.
And was that part of,
Go ahead, Gary, you're fine.
that was part of our agreement with them,
That is
correct?
correct.
That's not an additional cost to have them back because of
That's
this
correct.
little hiccup in the get up?
Right.
All right, thank you.
And they had hired a local electrical company to do all the connections. Yeah.
Yeah,
They did
Cunningham
use a
Electric.
local contractor
Yeah.
to work on that, which helped, I think. Any other questions for Duke or the road department? All right, Duke, we appreciate it. Thanks for all your work and your team's work. All right, judge's report. A lot of you all were at the Governor's Local Issues Conference. Deputy Jack Kennedy went also. That was well attended. We want to say thank you to Jay Mattingly, 1845. They have done that's a picture of the conference. So that's at the distillery. They've come up with a bottle to help raise money for flood victims in Franklin County to go towards the community trust account. So we appreciate everything they're doing to try to help our community, because there's still a lot of people suffering and trying to get through this flood. So I think they're donating $30 of every bottle towards the fund. So very, very nice. Chief and Jack have been busy doing interviews for the assistant chief. I think you all noticed that, obviously Assistant Chief Ofer retired tonight, so they have been doing interviews on that, so that'll be coming to us soon. Did a KYT interview with Dr. Acapo and a couple, that's a great picture, and and a couple other people about the terrible shooting at KSU. The interesting thing about that is It's unfortunate, it did happen on the property, but the ones that did it and the ones that were shot were from Louisville. So they weren't even KSU students, they weren't even Franklin County residents. So I think that's important for everybody to know, because KSU kind of seems getting dinged on things, but they are trying to figure out how to tighten up security. New Sheriff Depp has been working with them to maybe initiate the drawbridge thing, you know, when you pull into campus, and maybe putting more personnel on campus, especially on weekends, with some cameras and things to try to, you know, cut that down a little bit. Had a good, Charlie Lewis came with the Parks and had a good meeting with Brandon Simpson. So they're a soccer clinic organization that has been working with our local schools. And so they will be using Lakeview Park. You can't read it, but there's dates there that they're going to be doing clinics and workshops. So they see a big need in Franklin County to teach kids soccer. So they just wanted to, oh, thank you, Andrew. They just wanted to kind of come, let us know what they were doing. The schools are very supportive of it because they think there's a need, and there's, you know, a gap that's not being met here. So we appreciate them being here in Franklin County and working with our Parks Department. Next one has had a good meeting. We've had a couple meetings now. There's a group that is trying to get together a celebration for next year for the 250th anniversary. It actually falls on July 4th on a Saturday night. So there's a good group of people that is working together, and they're trying to figure out everybody that needs to be involved in that and how we can get behind that to help make a great celebration. The idea is that, you know, they're going to bring a parade back. They'll have vendors. It will be a day event. If everything goes well, there'll be a big patriotic concert that night, and fireworks. We're trying to bring those back downtown if possible. So hats off to a group of people that are spearheading that. So that's an exciting thing that we'll be hearing lots about. Last night I went to the Lions Club, spoke to them for a while. Great organization of people. Want to remind everybody that during the flood they donated $27,000 or $28,000 worth of materials, and that's shop vacs, dehumidifiers, shovels. They showed up twice, so very important people in our community. So I was very happy to do that. Did an interview with LEX the other day about our buyout programs. That's moving along pretty well. We have 22, I think, already approved on the federal level. The other ones get turned in on Friday. I think there's another 12 that we're looking to get approved for the buyout program. And it's totally up to them if they want to continue with it or not. So a lot of people, some people on that list have already sold their homes, so they won't need to be on the list. If we don't use the money, it gets turned back in. There'll be appraisals done the day prior to the disaster. So if somebody's not happy with their appraisal, they won't take it. But it's our understanding that most of the people didn't have flood insurance and aren't covered, and they could have a very big, their house could be worth nothing right now, and if they have the opportunity to regain that $300,000 or $400,000, I believe they're going to do it. So, you know, I know that's been before the court, so I just want to let everybody know. But we've been working with NRCS about that. And then, sorry, Andrew, I added a couple things. You had put up the Humane Society logo. They are getting ready to have their 80th celebration at the Historical Society on the 6th. So I know it's a huge fundraiser for them. They do the waiter game and things like that. They try to raise a bunch of money. So hopefully, if you're watching and you support the Humane Society, you'll look into that event. So that is my judge's report this week. Squire Sebastian.
Thank you, Judge. One of the first things you mentioned was the flood relief fund. We haven't had any kind of report recently. How much is in that fund? Is there anyone that could come and talk to us about that, just so we have an idea?
On a national level?
Here, the local flood relief fund.
Yeah.
Could we get someone to come and
Yes,
talk about that?
we can.
Okay.
Yeah, I have not looked lately. Last I looked, it was right hovering around 200,000.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Just-
we can find that out. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great
Because I
question.
still get lots of
Yep.
calls.
Yep. And we did, we were fortunate enough to help set up on Home Street for a couple months. We had a building that was open for home goods and furniture, and a lot of people took advantage of that.
And that's closed now, though.
Yeah, it's
Right.
closed
Just so
down now.
everybody knows.
We monitored it for a while. Ashley King and Mike Fitzpatrick really led that charge. Luckily, a friend of ours had a building who donated it for months, but the need kind of dropped off. People weren't coming anymore for the last couple weeks, so we emptied that building out and returned it to the owners. And obviously, we're going to keep helping people that need help, but there's a bunch of different steps, to rebuild. So, but most everybody who needed furniture got furniture and dishes and everything you need to kind of start over. So there's still a lot of hurt going on in our community, so I appreciate everybody's willingness to help, and we can keep donating to that fund because it will all be distributed back into our community. So, Squire Dykes.
Can I push an event quickly for the Boys and Girls Club?
Sure.
We're doing a fundraiser on the 5th. It's a ladies' night out, paint, wine, and cheese party. Dana Parker and I are doing that. And then the next day, we're doing one for kids and their trusted adult. So we're going to paint, have a good time, and raise some money for the new Boys and Girls Club.
Where would somebody find information about that?
It's all over Facebook.
Okay.
It's on my page.
Okay.
On both of my pages, so,
Yeah.
if you want any more
And
information.
Andrew's listening, so I'm happy to put it on our page because they
Thank
have a
you.
great thing going.
Thanks.
Boys and Girls Club is going to be very, very pivotal to getting this community turned around. All right, Squire Whistler.
Judge, I just, while we're talking about flooding, the community may not realize the impact is still ongoing. I just saw that we have some of the people that live in the housing authority buildings are just now getting to go back into those facilities, and there's a need right now for, I think, about 30 mattresses just to get them back into their homes and additional home goods that are going to be needed. So I'm trying to figure out exactly who's going to facilitate gathering some of that. I know there's a few parties that are still trying to go after that, but it'd be nice to know what kind of money is remaining, and I'd be happy as a court to put some restitution to some of those things if we need to. So.
Absolutely. Alrighty, let's go ahead and move down for authorization approval from our minutes from August 7, 2025. Anything on that?
Yeah, Judge.
I think we had an amended given to us,
On the,
special meeting.
gotcha. I'm sorry, Squire Whitson?
There's a couple of changes here, the way that meeting occurred. The meeting was called into order at 3:31, but you immediately recessed it. I think that should be reflected. And then the meeting adjourned, but I don't know that everyone was still present. I would like it to state who was there to vote to adjourn, because I was not. Or I didn't get pulled over to do that at least.
So I'm gonna ask court because it's gonna be my memory, I guess, of who was still there at the end. So we'll add, we then recessed.
Yeah, you moved into an immediate recess
Yeah.
after calling it to order. And we did the roll.
Who was still there when we, Squire Blackburn was there, Squire Dykes is still there, Squire Sebastian?
I
Trying to
had
remember.
walked out the door because I had a 5 o'clock
Yeah,
meeting.
no.
To get to.
And I was outside talking to people. I didn't see it happen. So.
Okay. So, alrighty, we'll reflect that in the notes. So we'll do as amended. All right, thank you. Alrighty, next one was our regular meeting of August 12th, 2025. Alrighty, and I believe the next agenda item, our new Sheriff Depp is coming forward to present. Good evening, Sheriff.
Good evening, Judge. Judge, I'd like to just take a quick minute, if you would allow me to just say thank you to not only yourself, but your deputy judge and your county attorney and all the magistrates, along with the staff of the Fiscal Court, for your support of not only me and my staff at the Franklin County Sheriff's Office. The community has been very supportive and I'm very grateful and thankful for the support that my family and I have received from the community. And a special thank you to the men and women of the Sheriff's Office for their commitment and dedication every single day to go out and protect this community. A lot of times people that we don't know, or people that may not think fondly of us, but they do it every day and not think a second about going out and making sure this community is safe. So I just wanted to publicly thank everybody for their support and just let you know that we're going to continue to give our best every single day.
Thank you very much.
So with that said, 2024 tax settlement, you'll see that in your packet. At least to me, it's self-explanatory. But I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have about the tax settlement.
Any comments, concerns, questions on this one? All righty. And the next one has to do with you also, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
It is. It's the bonds that are required for the position that I serve in now as the sheriff. So I think you have a copy of that in your packet as well.
Yep. So obviously the one for Sheriff Choir is no longer.
That is correct.
Yep.
And I do think, just so the court knows, I think there's a reimbursement that goes along with his coming off that the court will receive.
Yeah, because it
those
wasn't
payments.
full term. Yeah,
That is correct.
I believe you're correct. All righty.
Yep.
Sheriff, thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you.
Squire Wisman, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
sir.
Just a technical question. The bond order is dated for August 27th. Should it be, or can it be backdated to the date that Chief or Sheriff Depp was instilled into office? I cannot remember what KRS states, that there's so many days that the bond has to be put into place within
Max, thoughts on
being
that?
appointed, but I wanted to ask.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's within 30 days, and I think we're within the period. I don't have it sitting in front of me, but I'm almost positive it's within 30 days.
Did you not have a bond as chief deputy?
No, sir.
Really?
Not required.
That's interesting. I thought it would have been.
Did not.
Learn something new every day.
Yes.
I got a question for my information.
Go ahead, Squire
I
Tanner.
want to make sure, just so I understand, we're talking about the bond is an amount of 500,000, but then on the back, we're paying for 400,000. From CAECO. I don't exactly, you have to catch me up on that a little bit.
Sheriff, does that make sense to you?
I think, and I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, I do know. I'm thinking the 400,000 is the amount of advancement that we get. So why it's $500,000 a bond itself, I have no answer, but I will certainly, if the court would like for me to, I can certainly do the research on that and then get back with you or the whole court and let you know why one says 500, the other says 400.
Works for me.
Yes.
If you don't mind, send that to Jenny and she can distribute it to the whole court.
Be glad to do that.
Perfect, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Sheriff, thank you very much.
Thank you
Stay
all.
safe out there.
Yes, sir.
All righty, next I believe, oh, there. I'm
Is it
sorry.
because one of them is a revenue bond and the other one is FEMA bond, I think that's the difference.
Yeah, I know there's
One's
three.
revenue bond and the other one's the state advancement bond.
Is the state advancement, which is.
So there's two bonds, not
There's
one bond, there's
three.
two bonds.
There's two bonds.
That's why I think there's a difference.
Yes.
There's three?
It's my understanding that when Michelle and I did this, there's a replacement on advancement bond that we do. There's one for the county revenue, and then there's a qualifying one as well.
Yeah, there's three different bills here.
Yes, it's my understanding there's three
Yeah,
different
three
bonds.
bills.
But the ones,
Go ahead, Squire.
I apologize.
No, you're
I'm
fine.
talking out
You're
loud.
fine, thank you.
I think the ones that Squire Tanner asked about.
I got you.
I was only answering your question. The 500,000 is the revenue bond, the 400,000 is the advancement bond. I just tried to answer his question.
Yep,
Yes.
yep. Thank you.
It just proves I read all my material. Every word of it,
Yep.
every time.
All righty. Autumn, how you doing tonight?
Doing well.
All righty. So tonight, tell us what you're doing here.
So this item is a second reading and approval of an ordinance amending the table of special ordinances, Section 1, zoning map changes of the Franklin County Code of Ordinances for a portion of the property including 47 acres at 5700 through 5930 US 127 South, a portion of the property 70 acres at 6238 US 127 South, and a portion of the property 57.696 acres at 2024 Keaton Lane, from a rural residential zone to a planned commercial, planned industrial PC zone.
Okay,
Happy to answer any questions.
Just want to remind everybody that since we're going off the record, we got to be really careful kind of what we talk about and how we talk about it. Any questions for Autumn? Squire Wisman.
Judge, I asked Autumn a question earlier, and I'd just like her to state for clarification. There was an additional 2 documents that were not part of the original records last meeting that were part of the record this meeting, and my understanding is that those were they were the same minutes that were previously submitted to us, but the additional documents were why? Because we have signatures on those now?
Correct. The minutes from the 7:10 and 7:22 Planning Commission meetings you had in draft form, those were signed by the Planning Commission at their recent meeting in early August. But there was no changes to those minutes other than that they were officially adopted by the Planning Commission, and we wanted to update you on that.
Thank you.
Okay. As far as Sebastian?
Thank you, Judge. I've got a question for the county attorney. Can you talk to us about the criteria before us to reach the decision tonight, what that is based on? Just want to make sure that we all have the same level of understanding.
Talking about the provisions of KRS 100.213.
Could you read that, just so everyone hears that? I'm probably going to ask you to read it more than once tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Before any map amendment is granted, the planning commission or the legislative body or fiscal court must find the map amendment is in agreement with the adopted comprehensive plan, or in the absence of such a finding that one or more of the following apply, and such findings shall be recorded in the minutes and records of the planning commission or the legislative body or fiscal court. A, that the existing zoning classification given to the property is inappropriate and that the proposed zoning classification is appropriate. B, that there have been major changes of an economic, physical, or social nature within the area involved which were not anticipated in the adopted comprehensive plan and which have substantially altered the basic character of such area. Numerical 2 of that statute, the planning commission, legislative body, fiscal court may adopt provisions which will prohibit for a period of 2 years the reconsideration of a denied map amendment or consideration of a map amendment identical to a denied map amendment.
Go ahead, Squire.
So just to finish my question on that, are there any other considerations? We are considering a zone change. We're not talking about a development plan, nothing like that, correct?
It's currently in front of the fiscal court as a map amendment.
Again, are there any considerations, any other factors for us to be mindful of in reaching our decision tonight?
I think what's in the record in front of the...
What's in the record?
Anything else while Autumn's up there on this subject, on this agenda item?
Judge, I'm going to request again, I know you all voted it down last time, but I really want to stress that given, again, that this is an action by a governmental body, initiated by a governmental body, and because this body has not got to hear directly from our citizens about their concerns, which they have reached out to us time and time again about, I would like to hold a public hearing so that we can hear from our citizens directly in this manner and not going off the public record from the Planning and Zoning Commission hearings.
Okay, well, I think we voted on that last time, did we not?
I'm stating it again for the record that I would like to have that public hearing. So
Okay.
I won't make it a motion because I know it'll be voted down, but
Okay, that's fine. We respect that, thank you. Anything else in this agenda item? All righty, Autumn, thank you.
Judge, if I may,
Please.
going back to the bond for the sheriff, 62.050 subsection 3, each person appointed to an office who is required to give bond shall give the bond within 30 days after he receives notice of his appointment.
All right, so we're still in compliance there. Thank you. All righty, next, I believe we're going to talk about the appropriation of budget funds. So this is something, I guess, depends on how the vote goes tonight. If the vote goes up, this will be our next agenda item. If it doesn't, then this will be taken off. This has been budgeted during the budget season as part of our investment in this project. So does anybody have any comments, concerns, or thoughts on this agenda item?
yeah, Judge. I would like an explanation generally of this. I recall, I mean, this has been a fast-track process altogether, right? This started for the first time that I heard anything of it in December effectively, and now we're, 8 months later, and here we are ready to allocate money for the project. But it was my understanding, or what was represented to us at the time, that we would not have an outlay of funds in any way for this project until there was such time that the project was moving forward with development, that we were not outlaying funds to put in streets or infrastructure. The opposing county was bringing in sewer, and we were not going to do anything until we had something more sure, that we had either a business in place that was ready to move forward with certain guarantees, that we had so many employment jobs guaranteed and certain amounts of income on those. So I'm just wondering what the haste or what the need is that we need to go ahead and commit $500,000 of our money to this project. If somebody could please explain why this is contingent tonight when we haven't approved a zoning change yet.
Yeah, well, I think it's to purchase the land ultimately, and in order to use the money that was given by the state, those funds have to be spent to purchase the land. So that's what this is for. There's no infrastructures going in, there's no roads going in, there's no, it's up to Anderson County City, to bring the sewers there. That's not on us. But it's our understanding that, we're in it for 500, the city of Frankfort's in it for 500, and then same on Anderson County, and then our own economic development is putting in $1 million, I believe.
So the scope of this action is to purchase, to have effectively, what is that, $4 million or $8 million, $6 million? What amounts are we putting together here? The incentive from the state is $2 million per county.
Yes.
It's $1 million for the city of Frankfort.
We're each putting in $2 million.
$1 million for the city of Frankfort and Franklin County together, and $1 million for Anderson County and Lawrenceburg together. So
$2 million apiece.
$6 million total.
8. We're putting up 2, they're putting up 2. We have 500, city has 500, and economic development has $1 million, that's 2.
Okay.
To get the $2 million match, and Anderson County would be doing the same if this passes. Squire Sebastian.
So the $8 million is being set aside to purchase property only, or is it to purchase property and to do infrastructure? I'm trying to make sure I understand that, because now I've heard something a little different.
Yeah, it's my understanding to purchase the property and any other kind of testing or whatever that would have to be done. There's been no conversations.
So the $8 million is gone then, correct? Is
Yeah.
that what you're thinking?
Yeah,
$8 million?
or whatever it takes. I haven't heard the final thing. If they don't use all of it, then the state doesn't match the rest of it. They only match what we put out.
To purchase property but
Correct.
not do any improvements.
Where can we get some guarantees? Because this whole process has been a moving target, and you're the one in the mix. I'm not privy to these meetings or haven't attended them, let's say, or the other discussions that are happening. But with what's being put in front of me at every meeting regarding this project, I'm uncomfortable with, frankly, the lack of guarantees I'm getting. I mean, I brought this up at the December meeting, that my biggest concern was taking something like this, creating an industrial park, buying land, and then it languishing and being like other communities that surround us, that we say, well, okay, we've got to start putting in a couple $1 million of infrastructure to attract the right kind of business. The creep that happens with these industrial parks every single time, all around this state, that you've got to get it shovel ready for the next business that comes in that is looking at 500 communities and ultimately doesn't come here. Now, we were assured that was not going to happen, but we don't have, verbally, but we don't have anything in assurances here, and we've not put anything in place. So I guess the question is somewhat about adopting this resolution. It makes me uncomfortable because we've not had time, or as a body meeting together, to put some clauses here to say that this moves forward with property acquisition only in the instance that we're not doing infrastructure improvements or developing roadways or expanding in some other way to adjacent properties that we've not had part to review, or that is in the other county that, that may grow and force something upon our side of the county that we have no purview over. I've brought up all these concerns all along. I know the community is concerned about these things. So is this the instance? Is this the resolution that we should adopt contingent on our I mean, we are the fiscal court. The only way we get to hold feet to the fire is through the money we put to things. So I'm imagining that this is the document that we need to add some of those contingencies. I know there's a hurry to meet a deadline for the state in September that hasn't been said overtly, but I know it's there. Could this be delayed to have input on that and to put some of those contingencies to give our community some reassurances?
So you say you don't know about all this. Have you attended any of the economic development meetings that are open to the public?
Judge, I'm not going to do.
Have you
I have
gone to the fact
attended many
district
things.
meetings once a
I've
month?
researched quite a lot. I've followed up on this. But again, those are external to this body. This body's making the decisions. We're the one putting the money up.
Yep.
And we can't mandate what any of those other organizations do. I can only work in this function as this court, as my elected seat right now with this document. So I guess my question is, can we add contingencies to this document? This is appropriating money to buy land to eventually develop. This seems to be the only instance. There is not an assurance that a development plan is going to come back before this body to review or approve. That will generally go to the Planning Commission as long as it's within the scope of the industrial park, which we all know is broad and vague as can be. Even though we've asked for some definitions to be put in place that we've not got yet. And we're going through a rewrite, but that process is down the road. At the moment, you know, we're allowing land to be purchased for this purpose if this zone change goes through this evening. I don't see a direct conduit where this comes back to us to add stipulations to, except for this document. Somebody could tell me I'm wrong. Maybe there's something else coming forward to us, but it would seem to be this document's the time and place to add some of those contingencies that we want to see.
I might defer to Max on that one. I don't know if it is or not. I do know that the way the fact district was set up, that everything comes back to us. If there's somebody interested in land, it has to be approved by the fiscal court. Their budget has to run through us to be approved every year. So I think there is some checks and balance moving forward. I don't know if this is the time. Max, can you help me out here from a legality standpoint this is just asking to donate, put the funds where, when we're in the budget season, we said that's where it would go. I don't know if this is the time or the action to.
So this is just to appropriate the money?
Yes.
Or- I guess if the court wanted to, they could technically say what it is to be used for. I mean, but
Squire Blackburn.
I mean, it's just like any other line item in a budget.
I felt like we did. We talked about it in the budget discussion, about we were gonna put this money up to invest
In
in
this
our
project.
community. I mean, we created the Franklin Anderson Industrial Development Authority in November of last year. And it has been overtly said that, how that was gonna work. We talked about it. We all voted on the budget. I don't see where the cloak is. It's been open.
And ultimately, we voted on the members
I've had-
that represent
I've had-
us on that district.
I've made sure I've had total clarity of how this is working. And, we get the seats on the board. And there's some things that we can offer in guidance moving forward on that. This is just to appropriate money if this zone change happens, the amendment. It was kind of crystal to me, going back, that's what it was for. And it's been 8 months, we talked about money 8 months ago, and then the day we're doing it, it hadn't been a rush. It's been coming. We've been seeing it. We know it's happening. I've been calling our economic development person here and speaking with them, and I've tried to go to every meeting I can. I haven't gotten any information other than those times, so I feel like I've got everything I need.
Squire Tanner, I'm sorry.
I kind of want to back up what Squire Blackburn's saying. I hadn't been on the budget committee, but I know these numbers have been presented to us many times, the $500,000 for the city, us, the state, the Anderson County and the KCDC. So it's not a surprise it's here because we've talked about it many times. And at least it's been out there. And, so it's not a surprise to me. Now, this just appropriates the money as it's been worked through the budget committee, which I'm not on. But anyway, it's not a surprise it's here because it's been talked about many times, or at least I thought it had been.
I agree.
And I think a lot of it goes with the whole grant process. I mean, there's guidelines that have to be followed. Go ahead, I'm sorry, before I take.
No, you're fine.
Go ahead.
I'm just kind of thinking out loud.
Yeah.
I mean, the money is, we've talked about the money 100 times. That is absolutely accurate. We have probably talked about it more than a million times at this point, but I'm wondering if, I mean, I know what the fears are. I've heard them, and I understand them, and I think that we are all Franklin County citizens, and we want the right thing to happen here, and we want people to be safe in our water and our air and all those things to be safe. But I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, that is something that we would put in I don't know, as an agreement with the group that we have chosen to do this, correct?
I
Like
believe that
bylaws.
is correct. And I'm fine to set
Bylaws
up
are
a meeting
different.
with our representatives on that body to have a conversation about what we feel for environmental and things like that.
Right, and
That
I
would
think
be
we,
the
I think
time.
we all agree on that.
Yeah.
I think we, all- I've talked to everybody here, I trust everybody here, and I believe that we live here too. We don't want something that's going to harm our water or our air. We don't want that either. I have grandkids that live here too, that live on that side of town. So I think this is a separate issue from what we need to do soon after, if this is approved. Is that correct?
No, I would agree with you. I think that's the right way to do it.
Judge, can we have some assurances in that case then? Because my experience on this court has been that we are told one thing, and then it seems like all of those things creep. And then suddenly an external agency is going to take care of that, or there's going to be assurances later on. You know, and in my experience, just in some of the conversations we've had with this thing since the beginning, we've had different expectations that, you know, that initially there was 1,500 jobs that were going to be mandated with a certain level of pay, and then I've heard in presentations later on that it's 1,000 jobs. I mean, we've never voted on anything to stipulate how this thing is developed and what our expectations are, except that stuff's got to come back to us in some way, right? But I'm just hesitant or cautious that that will actually happen, because it may be a year from now and most of us may not be here that have that opinion, you know. You never know. So I'm asking, is this the appropriate document to put some of those stipulations into? Because again, we have the carrot of the funds, and that's the only real way that this body gets to legislate, if you will. Or is that going to be something that we have some assurances to the public is going to be coming up soon for us to put those regulations, those expectations, all of that into? I haven't had any discussion of that kind of process about when that's that going to happen. We were promised it's going to happen, but it hasn't happened, and we are 8 months down the road now. So maybe somebody, you or whoever, can explain to us, you know, what the expectations are going forward, because they have questions, so do I. And I've not been in some of the finance meetings or some of the other meetings that have occurred around this, so I'm just asking because I'm trying to be as transparent as possible, and when I have questions, I want to ask them in a public forum so that they're answered in a public forum for the public to know, so.
Understandable. Squire Harris?
The way I understand it is, this is appropriation to purchase the property. Once and if someone is interested in coming in, they present their plan, it comes before the court. We review it. If it's worth having in Franklin County, we take it. If it's not, we dismiss it. That's the way I understand it.
Right, but I think what people are looking for is some assurance that if we're not sitting in these seats 2 years from now, that still would be active. And so that's where we need to work with the fact district to make sure those stipulations are put in there
I agree
as
with
far as guidelines and things like that. I mean, that's what we're all talking about here. Court-Attorney, do you have your hand up?
I did, but I was just gonna call for point of order. I think we need to be talking about the $500,000 appropriation And that's my thought, and I don't know that we're staying with that.
Squire Sebastian.
Thank you, Judge. So in the fourth whereas clause, it says, Franklin County Fiscal Court now wishes to conditionally appropriate the funds, et cetera, et cetera. 5, 6, then it says the appropriation of these funds shall be contingent. So it's clear that we can put some contingencies in there. If there's a question by this body and there's a question by our constituents about what those contingencies are, we've already said in here we can do that. We need to do that.
Okay.
So I guess the question for me
Yep.
is, there's another action that may predicate this, may not predicate it
Right.
at all.
Correct.
Does this have to be on our agenda based on what happens on the other item? Tonight, just asking if it has to be here tonight. We're having a meeting in 2 weeks. Could that, the conditions,
Be
because
some
there's
time to
already
come up
some
with
in here.
conditions?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be for the conditions.
Yeah.
If
I think
if
everybody,
one
I
thing-
think everybody here is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I'm not saying
definitely a
that no
concern.
one else is, I'm only speaking for me, that's all I can do
Yeah.
right now. So,
Yep. Is court okay with that?
When? That's my question, when? Is that going to be at our next meeting?
It'll be the next meeting.
that's just what I asked.
If these
That's
two
what I just
move
asked.
forward tonight, if both of these are voted up, can I have an assurance that that'll be on our next agenda for us all to have input and the public to have input on what those contingencies are? And we put that in place? Does that need to be a joint meeting with the fact board, or how does that happen? I'm just asking. I want them to know. fully.
Yeah, no, and I'm thinking through. No, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I guess it would be a meeting with that board and us. Okay, that's a special meeting then, right?
In the public? It wouldn't be a special meeting if it's at the regular conducted time. Special meetings are just meetings that are outside the regularly scheduled meetings that are set forth at the beginning of the year. So if it's a separate meeting that you all are talking about, other than the one that's in 2 weeks, then it would be a special meeting.
Okay.
So this would not be a special meeting, it would be on the agenda for our next regularly scheduled meeting, is that correct?
I don't.
Oh,
it's
assuming
whatever-
it gets on
It's
there.
what you all choose to do.
Yeah.
Like, I
Assuming
don't
that's
set
what
the
the
agendas
judge-
and I don't set the schedule. So
Yeah,
if you
well,
all want
I
to have a
don't do
special
the
meeting
agenda
about
either.
that, then you all can have a special meeting. If you want to do it at the regular meeting, you can do it at the regular meeting.
We
But
would either need to come with items to put in there, or we would have to take them, get the comment here, and then bring that back at a later meeting to make sure all the items are in here,
Right.
is my assumption.
Yep.
Because just to sit here and
No, I agree.
try to
I'm
come
thinking
up
this
with
through,
that off
'cause I
the
do
cuff
know
is
there's a
not a
timeline
good
as far
way
as
to do
getting
this.
these funds appropriated. We've already kind of just looking at the funds. Now, I'm not saying that we don't go ahead and just call it special, to meet with that board to discuss what our wishes are with that. But I'm worried about timeline-wise, if this doesn't go through tonight, meeting all the deadlines. So, I'm trying to think, I mean, I can give you my word that we'll put it on the agenda next time, or we'll set up a special meeting with the fact district. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I want to do what's best for this community. This isn't a dog pony show. I mean, we're trying to figure out the best avenue for everybody. We just, if this project were to go through, we need to keep it moving, is the only thing. So are you all comfortable with taking my word that we'll have a meeting? I'd probably just rather have a special meeting with us in the fact district, because I don't know what their availability is in the next 2 weeks to go ahead and set some parameters.
Me personally, I think that it should be on the agenda at our next regularly scheduled meeting if that fits in the time frame.
Okay.
However, I don't think it would be anything inappropriate for a committee to meet with the fact, because everybody would have, if you got 6 people putting different contingencies in there, it's gonna be very difficult to come up with something that works.
Yeah, to manage it and figure out how to do that. And,
But that's part of turning the sausage. That's what we're here to do. If that takes
But
2
if you
days
don't,
to do
if
it,
you don't like
it's
the
part of it.
contingencies they put in there, you
Yeah.
vote against it.
Yeah, right. Our next meeting's September 10th, Judge, at 5 PM, and then the following one's a 9 AM meeting, so I just want to say I'd prefer it be the evening so the public can attend.
yeah, okay. are you all okay with if, and I don't even know if this thing will pass, if it passes, are you okay with voting on this if I give you my word that we will have that meeting within the next 2 weeks? That's my question. Squire Blackburn, I'm sorry.
The Franklin Anderson Industrial Development Authority is meeting tomorrow at 1. So, is that a closed meeting? It's not?
It's a public meeting, it's held right here at 1 o'clock.
So do we want to attend that meeting tomorrow?
You don't have enough time for notice for us?
You can do a committee.
Some people can. If we strategically did it and, 3 of you wanted to go to that meeting to have a conversation.
That could be considered a roving meeting, I would think, Judge.
Just gathering information is what it is. Which is the benefit
Go
of
ahead,
the
Squire
county.
Blackburn.
I think we took special care in picking who we have on that board. Works hand in hand with our economic development folks we have. I know they want to do what's best for this community. I'd already be against that formation of that board. So it's not like I feel like I have to be there and tell them this is what I want, this is what, they know what we want.
I agree with what he's saying. We can't all vote.
I think just being a fly on the wall and watching the meeting and being an eye-opener for a lot of folks that don't attend meetings and say they don't have information. It's there. It's open. It's public. Show up.
Squire Dacus.
Can I ask Ms. Fiedler to come up? Would you mind? Sure. I think there's a timing issue here, and I want to make sure that we fully understand that.
Go ahead and state your name.
My name is Penny Peevler, and I am the Economic Development Director for Frankfort and Franklin County.
So I want to make sure that if we choose to do this in 2 weeks, what that's going to do to this process.
The plan related to the timing of the grant funds and the grant agreement that has been executed is that the closing would occur in the month of September, and all the appropriated funds need to be in the bank in order to do that, no later than September 12th. So any check of that size, when it's deposited, is going to have a couple of day hold on it, no matter who it's from. And so September 10th really does not allow for that waiting period for the funds to be conveyed to order the closing. Related to the conditions, there is a resolution that was passed by this body before the interlocal agreement, which set forth the specifications and the intentions for the project. When a development plan comes back through, that will come back through. This is not a development plan, it's a zone change. And so the opportunity is to purchase the land and to market the site. That's the opportunity, and the funds that are conveyed will be used to purchase the land.
Thank you, I appreciate your help. So it sounds to me like if we want to do this, we need a special meeting, and it's going to have to be next week. That's what it sounds like to me. Does that? But I will also say that a lot of this is laid out. It is already there, and I wish I had it in front of me, but I don't because my phone died. But it is there. Sure. Yes, I'm sure. I read it 3 times today, I'm sure. I'm not going to let anything happen that is going to be a detriment. It's just not going to happen. I don't think any of us want that.
It's never the intention.
Okay, so if we can get a meeting for next week with that board, or we will, is everybody okay? And again, we don't know if it's up or down, this might not even be on the agenda, and we might be wasting our time. Are you all okay with that?
So are we talking about changing this agenda and not voting for the appropriation of
No,
funds due to that meeting?
No, I'm saying we go ahead and vote this through so we don't hold up the whole timeline, but
Right.
then we would have the meeting and talk to the FACT board next week.
I'll make my schedule available.
I'm wide open.
Monday's a holiday, but other than that,
Same.
Okay.
and I'll just say for the public, if it doesn't happen, I'll fully be joining
It will
some of
happen.
my
I'm not gonna
members.
give everybody my word not
Just
to.
saying, Judge,
I will have to
we can
Zoom
call a
because I'm
meeting however we
traveling,
have
but
to.
I'll Zoom it and figure it out. So I'll figure that part of it out. Okay. All righty, next I believe Belinda's with us. Hey, how you doing tonight?
I'm well, thank you.
Thank you for being with us.
Happy to be here. Good evening, everybody. This is an agreement with H&B for engineering services necessary to complete the Farmers Lane Bridge project. Fiscal Court entered into a master agreement with H&B for engineering services in 2024, designed to allow for the issuance of individual work orders, such as this one, for special projects that are negotiated on a lump sum basis. This agreement is for $84,300 to be paid by Fiscal Court. The cost will be used as the local contribution to match the $343,295 County City Bridge Program grant recently awarded by the state. This fee will include bridge design, roadway design, survey, and environmental work. And Brad Gregory with H&B is here via Zoom to answer any questions you may have about the agreement.
Mr. Gregory, are you on?
Yes, sir, Judge, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can't see you though. We'd love to see you tonight.
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm actually on a hay wagon.
He's fishing,
That's
let's
my
not
guy
lie.
right
Yeah. Thank you for being with us, Brad. Squire Sebastian?
Yes, Judge, I just wanted to say that this is definitely a needed project. The court has heard that, so appropriating these funds, which make them part of our match, in full support of that, because this is the way in and out of this neighborhood, Franklin County.
And I want to congratulate Belinda. I mean, this is a great $343,295. It's a great grant award, especially with everything going on right now.
And
so.
I would like to take this opportunity while Brad is with us to acknowledge the work that H&B did, all the engineering work that they had to do to prepare the application for us.
Perfect. Squire Wisman.
Judge, can I ask while we have Mr. Gregory perhaps here, I've already had fielded a couple of questions from members of the community out that way who have to rely on this bridge as the only way in and out of their neighborhood. I'm assuming that there's going to be an assurity that this bridge is replaced half and half so that there can still be access, of course, but I just wanted them to comment on that if we could, because I've already got, the rumor mill's already started, of course.
Hey, Brad, in a project like this, I know it's a short project, short bridge, short timeline, but how do they physically do it to keep traffic open and school buses and emergency vehicles active?
So what we have planned is called a temporary diversion, and we'll lay some, like an array, smaller culvert pipes. I think it's gonna be one side or the other. I'm trying to remember which side. I think we were looking at the upstream side. And so you'll have a small temporary runaround, that you'll use, while they're dismantling or, demoing the other bridge and building the new one. It's a pretty simple structure, so, it shouldn't take a real long time, but, access will be maintained the entire time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does that help?
Yeah, just wanted to state that
Yep.
for the record for those folks.
Perfect. Anything else for Belinda or Brad Gregory with HMB Services? Belinda, thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, next is, I lean on Max a little bit. We've seen this before. I'm getting some emails to sign some more documents. So what's, Max, why don't you tell them what we got in front of us here?
We actually got 2 agenda items, and there'll be more than likely a third one coming at the next meeting or the meeting after. As the court is aware, we participate in the national opioid litigation regarding certain pharmaceutical companies. There has recently been a proposed settlement for 2 of those claims. The first being with Purdue Pharmaceuticals. Purdue Pharmaceuticals filed actually bankruptcy protection And this is to approve the estate settlement plan for that. The portion for Purdue Pharmaceuticals is $1.5 billion. As far as the breakdown that's actually coming to the states in our particular county, that has not been determined yet. The second one is against the Sackler family. Purdue Pharmaceuticals actually sued the Sackler family. And so these two kind of coincide. As far as from the Sackler family, $6.5 billion, the settlement against them. And so this would allow the county to participate and receive funds from both of those potential settlements.
Any questions on this? Alrighty. This next one's basically the same thing, right?
I've only did both of them.
Okay.
First one was Purdue, the second one was against the
Gotcha.
Sackler.
Okay. Any other questions? Alrighty. Alrighty. Next, I believe Amy is up. Hey, there she is. Good evening.
Good evening. So I'm presenting a resolution to set the 25 real and personal property and the 26 motor vehicle and watercraft tax rates. It is 18.3 cents per $100. The motor vehicle rates, 17 cents per 100.
Any questions for Amy on this agenda item? Squire Blackburn.
Have these rates changed from previous year?
Yes, the real and personal property went down. Last year it was .184, and it went down to .183. And again, you heard it in our work session, that's due to property values going up. That enabled us to lower that rate.
And the motor vehicle hasn't changed?
Motor vehicle has to, it's limited to what was adopted in 1983.
Right.
So that is the same rate.
Alrighty.
Judge,
Squire Wisman.
Can I ask, because I got held up at another item, was there anyone in the hearing prior to this meeting that spoke publicly about tax rates at all?
Try to repeat back to my head.
Okay.
Charlotte Quarles, who's actually in here now, she attended and was asked some general questions about.
I'll go back and watch it.
Yeah, where the money was being allocated. She just wanted to make sure, to Amy's point, the funds will be used for pensions. And so that was basically the conversation, to make sure during the next budget that, that's where it's used. But we've done it every year and we stick to our word. But yes.
Thanks.
Yep. All righty, next agenda item.
So the purpose of our next item is a resolution to set the tax rate for insurance, capital, and bank deposits. These are the same as last year. The insurance capital is .15 of $100 on domestic life insurance companies. The bank deposits is .025 of $100. It's a franchise tax on financial institutions measured by deposits.
Are those numbers, those tax rates set by, suggested by the state or by the bank or by the KRS?
So that is the max that we can take.
Okay.
All righty, thank you. You got another one?
So we have two CDs that are coming due of $4.5 million, earning roughly $242,000 in interest. I would like for the court to authorize opening a 9-month for $1.5. I would also like to put $400,000 of our opioid funds into a 6-month CD. And I would like the court to authorize me to be able to reinvest those without coming before court until we need the funds.
Judge,
Yes, Bardakis.
How much is left of the opioid funds if we do that?
So our balance is 597,000, and we've allocated about that in our current budget.
So that means that we cannot spend that, though, if something comes up, we can't do that.
Right, so I had talked, I believe it was in the Finance Committee, if there were any plans, but if there are plans, we can certainly lower that.
Anything else for Amy on this agenda item?
Do we have a penalty for that CD, or do you know what a penalty would?
You would lose the interest.
Entirely? Yeah, I've said a few times, I'd like to put those opioid funds to use in the community. I think we're dragging our feet on putting those where they could be actively working already. And I don't favor saving them for one large.
If you'd like,
project,
we've been
but-
having some amazing meetings with the opioid task force, and it's growing, schools are involved, sheriff, hospitals, everybody. If you remember, we've hired Bluegrass Ad to help manage it. Gene Dunthery's doing an amazing job, so I would encourage coming to our next meeting because it's ramping up, and it's impressive what Franklin County's doing to try to fight this opioid crisis.
Please let me know when they are. I've asked several times. I asked to actually be on that committee. You didn't appoint me to it, so please let me know when they are, and I'll be happy to be there.
Squire Blackburn, do you have a hand up? Microphone, please.
Oh.
Thank you.
Madam Treasurer, so I know there's concern of having these funds, held in a CD, and there arises a need to expend them. The penalty is the loss of interest.
Right.
So to sit and say, no, we don't want to do it in case we need it, we can always pull it out and not lose a penny. We'll
Sure.
always have what we have. Okay, thank you.
Squire Harrod.
If we were to invest that, come up with something that we needed to do, could we use it from the general fund and then replace it with the money that comes back with the interest?
We could, as long as it's in the same budget year.
Right. That was my thinking.
Yeah. And this 6 months, of course, we would be fine.
Right.
Any other questions for Amy on this agenda item? All righty, next.
The next agenda item is an abstract, it's an agreement with First Federal Savings Bank of Kentucky. By KRS, the county's required to have a collateral agreement with any banking institution that holds in excess of $250,000. And so this collateral agreement with First Federal Savings Bank will guarantee those deposits should we go with them on some of the CDs.
So basically, just so everybody understands, we've done this for the other banks that are bidding on
Yes.
investing our money. So this is just adding another local bank
Correct.
to be able to bid when you put things out or make a call.
Yes.
What's your best 6-month rate or a year rate? Right?
Yes.
That's what we're doing here.
And they responded to the rate request that CashVest did for us. And so this enables us to take advantage of that rate if it's the highest rate.
And again, I appreciate the court just, really emphasizing working with local banks because they're the ones that support our community. So, it's nice to have another bank in the mix to try to get as much money as we can with our rainy day funds. And I appreciate Amy for spearheading that. That's been a huge, huge thing for this community. All righty. Next, Amy.
This is the first reading of Amendment 1 to our 25-26 budget. The PDI grant, although I budgeted $500,000 as our allotment, I did not budget the pass-through from the state. So this is budgeting $2 million for that. The Judicial Center flood bills are coming in. Those were unbudgeted. So we will get reimbursed by AOC, but this is amending in the expense and the revenue for those expenses. We'll probably have more, but that's where we're starting. Opioid funds, we did receive $82,000 this month, so I'm amending those in. I do have one change to the abstract and the amendment before you for the sheriff. On your abstract, it is $2,920. I had a last-minute claim last week come through that I would like to include. So if you'll change that amount, $2,920 to $14,643.
I like the first number better, Amy. Can we stick
I
with the
do
first
too.
one?
I do too.
Sheriff's back there smiling.
Can you explain what that?
Yeah, what the
difference
difference was? It's a good question, Squire Wisdom.
The 11,000,
Yeah.
it was another accident for one of the vehicles. Oh, yes, it was still insurance proceeds. So that 14,000 is for 2 claims, insurance proceeds.
Thank you.
All righty. See no other questions. Next, Amy?
And lastly, you have the treasurer's report as of August 27th, 25, with revenues and expenses.
Anything stands out on here to you, Amy, that the court needs to know about without?
No.
All looking pretty good. Squire Sebastian, sorry, I didn't see it.
Thank you, Judge.
Yep.
Madam Treasurer, on page 2, under planning and zoning, the planning and zoning city agreement, we have to, it appears we've gone ahead and upfronted and the entire, pretty much 100% of that money. It's down, it's 5070566, that's the item. It will be the third one from the bottom on page 2 of expenses, sorry.
If you'll remember that first payment, so typically we receive revenue from the city.
Right.
But that included one very large inspection. And so this may have to, I may have to do a budget transfer at some point, but that's why that was
That's
so
what
large.
this, okay, all right, thank you. I just wanted to make sure I understood what that was. All right, thank you.
Amy, thank you very much.
Thank you.
There's a lot of stuff. We appreciate everything you're doing. Payment of claims.
I need to make an amendment on the claims.
Okay.
On the last page of the capital improvement fund, under account 9780011750, we're going to move the Stevens Home Improvement invoice to next court.
Could you repeat that, Kim?
Second half of the pole barn payment.
The Stephen Homes Improvement, under a capital improvement fund, under account number 9780011750, in the amount of $32,740 is going to get moved to next court for payment.
Any questions or other questions for
Several.
Squire Wisman?
A few things. Engineering services and general fund court bills, there's a number of things here. I'd like some explanation of what these were. Specifically, there's a $740 fee for Tierney Farm. There's a $720 fee for Duckers Road. Can anyone speak to what H&B's scope was in those charges?
Those were outstanding invoices that got missed through communication, through emails, and we, I double checked with the planning and zoning director, and she was good to go on and pay them.
What is the scope of work that they were?
Autumn, do you know that off the top of your head? Could you come to the podium, please? Thank you for still being here.
Sure. So these were several bills that were from prior to my time. I think that they were from 2023 and 2019, even
Yeah.
one of them. So they were going back quite a ways for services that HMB had provided on some planning and zoning related projects. I don't have a lot of details, but I can find out more information if I need to. But they were just outstanding things that had been missed.
I know we've had that discussion several times about bills being presented within a timely manner, or
Yeah.
are we obligated to pay them, especially when they're maybe 6 years old?
Yeah.
Those projects stuck out because they were so old, so I didn't have all
Of
that.
course, is all of that, is there any kind of expiration or no?
You have a contract with somebody,
Yeah.
you have to pay them or you get sued. And they've got 15 years to sue you on a contract. So if they're only 6 years old, they can still sue the county. I don't think they want to get sued over $600, but that's just
Yep.
my legal advice.
Do we know if these were recently submitted, or have they been submitted and just missed in the past?
They got overlooked. There was some emails from me to HMB asking some questions between planning and zoning directors, and I just needed more clarifications. And they ended up calling me, and I'm like, oh, sorry, I'll get that, try to get that taken care of.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you all. Any other questions for Kim on payment of claims?
Judge, there's
Go
a
ahead.
building maintenance, repair, electrical switchgear replacement, Serv Pro. I'm assuming that is the courthouse, that's $668,000. Is that the electrical replacement of the courthouse?
I believe so. We'll be reimbursed
So
for
that,
that.
okay.
Amy, correct? Yes. Never mind, we got it. Yeah, I knew it was 600 and change, so yes, that's a pass-through that we'll get reimbursed from AOC on.
Okay,
Thank you.
I think that's all. Thanks.
Alrighty. Authorization to go into closed session per KRS 61.8101F, disciplines or hearings which might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual employee.
So moved.
Clerk, did you get that? Tanner. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, we're going into closed session. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Alrighty. Next agenda item is the approval of promotions to the rank of captains and engineer. Any comments on that from the court? Alrighty, seeing none. Next is authorization to hire firefighters. Anybody have any thoughts on that one? Alrighty. Seeing none.
Judge, I'm
Go ahead.
sorry.
Squire Blackburn,
I
go ahead.
just wanted to add, when we go into voting session,
Yep.
I'll have to abstain.
Okay.
This applicant put me as a reference.
That's a good thing.
It's great.
Yep.
I don't want to be a
Yep.
hindrance or anything like that.
Understandable. So just make sure when we get there, you call that out for me. Alrighty. So let's, if everybody's ready, we're going to go ahead into the voting session. Clerk, please call roll.
Judge, do we have any other business to discuss first?
Any other business to discuss first? Squire Blackburn.
I just want to say that Squire Wisman and myself saw things in the bills over the time. One of them in particular, we felt as low-hanging fruit was the street lights that we pay for. The pay for is all over the place, so staff has presented us with a map and a list and the bills. I want to thank the staff for that. It was a lot of legwork, and we're looking into getting those more efficient, so to save the court some money.
Okay, good. Appreciate that. And thank you, staff, and everybody who worked on that. I saw that map. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. I said, what in the world is this? They said, all the street lights. I said, that's a lot. So, alrighty, so we're going to go ahead into voting session, and clerk, please call roll.
Squire Sebastian?
Here.
Squire Blackburn?
Present.
Squire Dykus?
Here.
Squire Harrod?
Here.
Squire Tanner?
Here.
Squire Westman?
Present.
Judge Mueller?
Present. Thank you, clerk. Authorization for approval of minutes from the special meeting of August 7, 2025, as amended.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Say
Motion
nay,
passed.
Judge.
All right, nay from Squire Wisman. Did you get that, clerk?
Yes.
Authorization approval of minutes from the regular meeting of August 12th, 2025.
So moved.
I have to abstain. I wasn't here.
Okay. Second from Squire Harrod. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
Did you get that, clerk?
Yes.
Thank you. Authorization to receive the sheriff's 2024 tax settlement.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve order for the bond for the new sheriff.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Second reading of approval of an ordinance amending the table of special ordinances, section 1, zoning map changes of the Franklin County Code of Ordinances for a portion of the property, 47 acres at 5700-5930 US 127, south parcel number 053-00-00-004.00, a portion of the property, 70 acres at 6238 US 127, south parcel number 053-00-00-007.00, and a portion of the property, 57.696 acres at 2024 Keaton Lane, parcel number 053-00-00-008.00.
So moved.
Second.
All right, let's go ahead and call roll on this one, clerk, please.
Squire Sebastian?
Judge and court, I have some comments to make in regard to my vote. So I want to start by saying that each and every vote that I make stands on its own. I listen, I read, I research, like my fellow court members. I've taken phone calls, received emails, met with neighbors across the 1st District and all of Franklin County to hear their thoughts on this matter. And at every turn, I've kept an open mind and open ears, which is the most important. All sides of this rezoning matter, everybody involved, they're very passionate and they all make very valid points. During my time on the court, there have been numerous rezoning votes, many with economic outcomes ultimately as the result. And as an example, the rezoning of 85 acres on Duncan Road, I voted to advance that each and every time it came before the court, because the overarching facts were that the Duncan Road property was contiguous to Industrial Park 3, where there had been no changes to the area of an economic nature, and the area has existing infrastructure to support industrial development. In the end, the result of that rezoning, Franklin County is now home to Nitto and 200 jobs. All of that happened within the last few months, with July being the ribbon cutting. But the criteria we have before us tonight to reach a decision to rezone is found in KRS 100.213, and our county attorney read that for all of us, where we are to consider that because it is the only matter to make the decision. That's the only matter at hand to decide. So today's decision is going to be made on that the existing zoning classification given to the property is inappropriate, that there have been major economic changes, physical, social nature in the area, with all the words that are straight out of the statute. So at present, there have been no substantial changes to the area. The land's not been altered. Properties have not been subdivided for large-scale additional housing. There have been no large-scale business expansions there. So in the case of the option property within the US 127 corridor, that property is considered at this point undeveloped. Documents, presentations, meetings, even the Planning Commission record share that an industrial use, not residential, not agriculture, not commercial, that is planned for this site. That means that it will require the full installation of utilities, road networks, none of those which exist on the site at present, as they did in the Duncan Road instance that I mentioned before. So I guess here's what I find important in all of that. The industrial development infrastructure additions will be the first major change to that area. And that's one of the criteria that determines the zone change here, if it's appropriate. That will all be started after tonight's decision, because it's not in place now, nor is it underway. And the cost to run infrastructure for industrial purposes will have significant and at present undetermined costs. So let's just take one step out a little farther. Currently, the Planning Commission record identifies utility providers in the area, but they serve residential needs. They do not serve industrial purposes. There's been no mention of the need for grid growth to do so, only that the utility providers have services that are in proximity to the area. So, I guess a question for me is, will the grid need substantial expansion to achieve the necessary capacity to generate electricity, for water pressure, to collect effluent flow, a number of things, really to increase each provider's own physical infrastructure, because they probably will have to do that, to service this area and the industries that may consider locating here. And again, at this point, we don't know, so there will be a lot of growth and discussion about what that will entail. We don't know what industry will be recruited, or more specifically, choose on its own to locate here, or to relocate, or to expand its existing operations. However, industries with high demand for water, power, gas will assuredly drive up the costs of extending or upgrading any and all of those services. But here's what we do know. We do know a Kentucky Product Development Initiative grant of $4 million has been approved for this area. That's going to require the 4 governmental entities in the interlocal agreement that has already been signed to come up with matching funds on a one-to-one basis. $8 million does sound like a lot, and it is a lot. And that is a lot to go toward land acquisition, which is what we heard. But I don't know the cost of a lot of the infrastructure that will be needed. I don't know establishing 3-phase electric for industrial park. Don't know what that costs. I don't know that because right now the grid out there is based on single phase for residential use. I don't know the cost of laying all the water pipe, all the taps that are going to go into it, the industrial water meters, fire hydrants. All the things are needed in that area because they're not there now. But let me be clear, I'm not saying or inferring in any way that the KPDI or government funds are going to be used to build industrial buildings for companies that come here. But I'm saying things like curbs, stormwater, sewer boxes, roads, pipe, site work, all of those costs that require getting the site build ready will make short of anything left from the initial investment of $8 million. And there will be other costs to come, all of which there is no existing funding stream to cover those upfront costs, and they will be costs. We don't know when the industry will choose us. So there could be more infrastructure costs to be determined. And I'll give you an example of that. The land in Hardin County that Blue Oval occupies now, that property, which is 1,500 acres, was purchased in the early 2000s by the Commonwealth of Kentucky with one purpose in mind. Those plans didn't come to fruition, and that property remained undeveloped until Ford Motor Company and SK announced in 2021 that it's going to build 2 electric vehicle battery plants there. That's exciting. See 825 acres of that initial 1,500 acres in use. They've employed 1,500 people, and they're expecting 5,000 more. They had a lot of people employed to get the site ready and other things, so there was a lot of employment, a lot of excitement. But getting what Hardin County has should be an aspiration for us. Yet, Hardin County is the 4th largest Kentucky county in this state with 624 square miles. It's primarily flat. I live next door in Grayson County. I loved all the things that they had up in E-Town. Went there a lot. Franklin is 97th in size. It's 207 square miles. 5 of those 207 square miles is water. And it's hilly here if you haven't gone out and driven around our beautiful county. It's hilly. So the translation there is Hardin County is 3 times the size of Franklin County, with more land to do anything they want to with. But over that 20-year period of industry recruitment, and they finally landed Blue Oval in Hardin County. That's really exciting. Sure wish we could do that here. Cost for everything increased. Cost of diesel fuel about that time was $1. That's according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. Concrete, $55 a cubic yard. That's the National Producer Price Index. Those same costs today, and these are 2 very minor things that we're talking about. $3.29 a gallon for diesel. Concrete is $165 a cubic yard, plus add-ons, plus tax. So those are 2 very minor examples of any kind of building that's going to happen anywhere in your backyard and mine. But all those costs have mounted exponentially during that 20-year period because they couldn't land the right business that they wanted for themselves. So it brings us back to the point of a location that's going to require the full installation of utilities, road networks. None of those exist now. All that's going to be an undetermined cost with no existing revenue stream beyond the initial grant, what is left out of that earmark. And then there's an undetermined skilled workforce pool that's needed for any new job creation here. And that's everywhere, not just this site. And then there's a need for just-in-time education and training programs, and those will be needed to upfit that industry, which is important. None of that takes into account the increased rate of automation of jobs in all sectors across the world right now, because the job footprint is shrinking because AI and other things are taking those jobs. So we don't know what that's going to look like. I hope it won't be terrible across Franklin County, period, at all at any time. And I don't want to forget that karst-related issues in the areas that are noted in the Kentucky Geological Survey, that map at chart 104, it is there for anybody to look at because it's specific for land use planning for Franklin County. But a balanced and growing economy, we need it here. We need available and prepared workforce pool here. We need that. We need housing. We all know that. We've had studies. We need that. And we need a strong plan to move this community forward. So I wrote something back in December of 2020, 2021 to jumpstart those conversations. It was serialized in the State Journal, talked about in community groups. Crickets after that. And here we are 5 years later talking about the same things. So with all of that said, we have a decision to make, and it's supposed to be based purely from what the county attorney said on KRS 100-213. That the existing zoning classification given to the property is inappropriate. Well, that's a no. For me, because right now it's doing what it's supposed to do. It doesn't have all this infrastructure there. And there have been major changes of an economic, physical, or social nature within the area involved, which weren't anticipated. And I look at that, and on the face of the words I read, that is a no. And I'm reading the words, trying to make sure I'm correlating the answers to those questions, to the specific questions. So, my vote tonight is based on existing factors. And I'm sure as all my colleagues did, they read all of this as well. I stayed up all night making sure I read it again, just to make sure, because it's been a lapse between when we first got it, just to make sure that we know everything. So my colleagues all got the same thing to read, and I have no doubt that they went through it meticulously, because it's a big issue. So my vote tonight is based on all the existing factors, and it's a no. But I do want to, after having said that, I want to be very clear that if this does pass tonight, because everybody has the same opportunity to talk and say important things that they have heard from the constituents, hearing your voice, I hope I'll sit elbow to elbow at every possible table where decisions to advance anything in this area are held. 5 years ago, I wanted to talk about it, and at every door, I did take the opportunity to do so. I still want to, so we can look at other communities. We can see where they succeeded. We can see where they stumbled. So all of our chances of success to grow exponentially stronger, and each step of that is a planned step rather than some improvised leap of faith. Because without thoughtful leadership, and I'll say this, we are very fortunate to have that. And we have that in place now. Without an informed process and without those people continuing to be around the table, nothing should stand in our way of getting where we want to be.
Thank you, Squire.
Thank you.
Squire Blackburn.
Well, I want to explain my vote as well. As you know, Squire Sebastian eloquently said, you know, there's factors in the KRS of how we look at these changes. I have to disagree that we have had changes of an economic and social matter in our community. To say we haven't is crazy. The cost of doing business has gone up. The cost of goods and supplies have gone up. So our economy has drastically been affected. We can't buy the same amount of milk with the same money we did 10 years ago, 5 years ago. I'm a big proponent of planning. You fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I think, you know, with this standing on its own, it is in the comprehensive plan. And the advanced planning project that we seek to undertake in Franklin County with the KPDI funds will allow us a planned, sustainable job growth for the future. I believe we can proactively plan. We can't say we need to plan, and then not get the ball rolling. It's good to push a ball that's already rolling. Right now, the ball's not rolling. We have no plan for our future besides this one in front of us that I see of, that I know of. I've traveled every rural road in Franklin County. I've traveled every highway in Franklin County. I've looked at the land. I grew up on a farm. I was born and raised on a farm. I know the value it brings, not in just its ability to raise crops and graze cattle and to grow things, but the lifestyle that it affords people. You know, I want to remind everybody, this was all unimproved land at one time. To continue our quality of services that we have for our people, you know, I'm proud to say, since I've been on the court, we've kept taxes flat 4 times and we've lowered them 3 times. We've never raised taxes. And I've sat across people and beside people, well, I've sat across from people that said, we need to raise taxes, we need to raise taxes. I'm not a proponent of taking more money from people than we already take. I'm a proponent of being fiscally responsible with everything we do, and I think we've got a brilliant record of that. We've added to the rolls last year, even with unexpected expenses, and we've continued to do so. We've had our reserves, and we just can't grow our reserves forever.
It's the people's money. It's your all's money. And to sit on it and not spend it, it's ludicrous. And then, because it's going to force us to say, hey, we need to raise taxes, and we can't live off those reserves. They're for opportunities such as this. So the change in our economic nature of our community, of our county, of our state, of our country, we can't afford not to plan. And, you know, our recent economic development plan that just came out, it says we've got to do this. We've got to do it somewhere. And there's only so many places in Franklin County you can do it. There's a lot of farmland in Franklin County. There's about 60,000 acres. And I know there's discussions of prime farmland, economic importance to the state. To me, it all is. It all is. But we have to weigh the value of what we have with what we need. And I know that anytime something grows, there's growing pains. It hurts. It hurts people. But I didn't sit on this. I didn't choose to be on the court to think short-sightedly. The decisions we make affect our children and our grandchildren. Our community has sat too long and not grown. You hear it from both sides of the table. There's no growth, there's no development, there's no revenue. We've been lucky and fortunate that prices have gone up in homes and that we've had some investment in our community. But the room for investment, for new investment, for growth, we're already targeting people to try to do infill. And that's a limited window of people. We need an area like this to grow. We need an area like this that we can pick and choose and recruit employers that will benefit us and our community and help us to grow and to help our children stay here and not leave for bigger, brighter pastures. And with that, as Squire Sebastian pointed out, you know, those two areas, economic and social, and changes in the area, that one to me stands alone on this. It was a recommendation by our planning staff. It was a recommendation by the Planning Commission, and I agree with them, and I vote yes.
Squire Dicus.
I think this is a really difficult, emotional decision, and I get all of that. I will say that what I'm hearing from young families is we can't stay here. We can't afford to live here. We can't make any money. The state doesn't pay. I don't want my kids moving away. I don't want my grandkids moving away. I do think that you're correct. I think that there is currently huge change in economics for our county, for the state, federally. We don't know what's going to happen. It's a mess. I mean, that surely to goodness everybody can agree on that. I wish that we had used our industrial park the way we should have used it, but none of us here made that decision. It's been used badly. I wish that we had not done that. I wish that the powers that have been before us had made better choices, but they did not. And so for me, this chance is worth it. It's worth keeping our kids here. It's worth possible. And I mean, possible, people, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about something that's just possible. We have no idea what's going to happen. But I think we have to. We've got to do something. We've got to make a move. We've got to keep our kids here. So I vote yes.
Squire Harrod.
That's a good thing about going forward. A lot of things you want to say has already been said. I've got 5 kids. I'm starting to have grandchildren, and I want to keep all of them local as I can. I want to see them every day. It's a benefit to have your family around you. You know, not living off, and who knows? You know, some may go, some may not. My vote is yes. I think it's an opportunity that we all need. We need to grow the county. I think we need to provide the jobs to keep our family here. And with that said, my vote's yes.
Squire Tanner.
I'll explain my vote also. And as Squire Harrod said, most everything I would like to say has been said, and I'll probably repeat some of it. But it's all about economic development and economy of Franklin County. To get the ball rolling, as Squire Blackburn said, that's what we have to do. Number one, everybody in here knows that state government, this county and city has relied on government as the cash cow forever. Everybody knows government is shrinking. It's not going the way it was. As Squire Dock has said, the jobs are not like they used to be. The retirement certainly isn't. All this is forcing a lot of decisions to be made because our economy has to keep up. Because if it doesn't, we're going to keep burdening the taxes so much on the people that are left, they can't pay them. And my grandchildren have already left here. One of them went to Cincinnati and one of them is in Georgetown, but now that's not here. And I hope someday I probably won't see them, but I'd like to see some great-grandchildren working here. And it's the opportunity for us to keep our children here and to provide an economic opportunity for the future is the reason I'm voting yes.
Squire Westman.
I'm going to reserve the right to explain my vote after the vote is finalized, if I can, so we keep the record clean, but my vote's going to be no.
Judge Mueller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Judge, can I explain my vote?
Go ahead.
You know, we're all sitting here wanting to do good things for our community, and I believe we all do. We all want to promote development, growth, opportunity. We want to create opportunity for future generations. And I moved back purposely to try to jump in to make that happen as my hometown. I wanted to serve the public in some way to see what I could do to lend my skill set or my opinions to areas specifically, a part of my community that I felt was completely overlooked because I grew up in rural Ball-Knob, right? We're having these conversations far too often in this community and in this court about this being the only opportunity, you know, this is the only thing, this golden goose that we have sometimes that is the linchpin to making drastic change. But we never talk about the other opportunity. You know, the truth of the matter is that this consideration for this zone change is predicated only on this location because we have an available double incentive from the state for $4 million. It doesn't mean or preclude in any way that we could have been looking at other areas that are defined within our comprehensive plan, 600 plus acres that were defined in this comprehensive plan for future industrial growth, that we couldn't have been pursuing all this time to develop additional industrial growth in areas that our community agreed upon in that comprehensive plan. You know, I've talked many times in these court meetings at zoning issues about that comprehensive plan being a contract between our citizens and the local government elected bodies that gives them the right to challenge us on anything that we do that doesn't fit what they defined within that plan. And that's why we're, as an elected body, removed from that plan, and it's allowed to be an external document through the Planning Commission so that we don't influence it. You know, I thought it very pertinent that our recent economic development plan, one of the items that was mentioned in passing but was not part of the plan was looking at our existing industrial spaces, and a recommendation that didn't make it to the final plan but was suggested was that we need to start acquiring and redeveloping industrial space that's already existing and is underperforming, that is vacant, that was poorly built, that was built for office spaces when it should have been commercial production or otherwise. We only have limited resources, right? And we have to use those where they can be best put to service for the community, where our KRS, as Sherry stated, explicitly states where infrastructure already exists, where sewers and electrical operations are existing. You know, the comprehensive plan identified 600 plus acres adjacent to the interstate where all of those things already exist. We don't have to build them new. And while we're on this wild goose chase, let's call it for a better term, that our community has badgered us about opposing and not wanting in this space, we have been, or members of this court and members of this community have been adamant to proceed at the expense of all of those other things we could be doing, where we could still get an incentives from the KPDI grant for $2 million for our community and develop an industrial space where it was defined in the comprehensive plan that was there by the community's wish and not one person, where we could take monies that we have and reacquire existing industrial spaces and remove those poorly performing, poorly built spaces that are outdated that need to be brought back online. Those should be our focuses right now, in my opinion, not unblemished farmland where owners either don't want to sell or the community doesn't want them to sell and doesn't want this to proceed. So I'm struggling with the actions of this court in this entire process and all of those involved that, you know, I think this process was somewhat dead in the water until certain promises were made to our governor and to others by members of this body and external to this body that we would get this done when it's not the wishes of our community. I hope that we can come out of this and start looking at other opportunities that naturally present themselves here more easily for greater wins, greater opportunities to invest without such great expense in places like the existing industrial spaces that we have. So I am voting no on that, and I'll proceed with the rest of these to vote no as well. But I hope that the community will hold everyone's feet to the fire. You know, we are elected servants, and when we don't do the will of the community, we're subject to being removed. So, you know, I think that'll play out in the next year and a half, and we'll see how it goes. But I hope we can start having conversations like I've been begging since day one to have a comprehensive plan of our own about priorities. What are we lobbying for? What are we legislating for? What are we looking to do to spend our dollars to best appeal with public input as a whole body? So I hope we can get there, and we can start looking at some of those other items that even our own industrial plan or economic development plan spoke so much truth to, even though other elements of it were problematic in my opinion. But for the most part, I think we have a good document there that should suggest some timeline to go forward and some opportunity to move forward with areas that we need to focus on. So that'll do.
All right. Next agenda item, authorization to approve a resolution of the Fiscal Court of Franklin County, Kentucky regarding the appropriation of budget funds to the Franklin County Anderson Industrial Development Authority.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
Did you get that, clerk?
Yes.
Thank you.
Judge, let me explain my vote there again. I don't want it said in the community whatsoever that this is about anti-growth, anti-development. We can do growth, we can do good for our community in areas that our community wants instead of fighting them. So,
Okay. Authorization to approve the work order and fee proposed under the existing agreement with HMB for the provision of professional engineering services for the Farmers Lane Bridge project.
So moved.
second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve a resolution of the Fiscal Court of the County of Franklin, Kentucky, County authorizing, approving, and directing the execution of the necessary documentation for the county to participate in the national opioid litigation settlement with Purdue Pharmaceuticals and approval of Purdue Pharmaceuticals estate settlement plan.
So moved.
Second.
Did you get that, clerk?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve a resolution of the Fiscal Court of the County of Franklin, County authorizing, approving, and directing execution of the necessary documents for the county to participate in the national opioid litigation settlement with the Sackler family and approval of the government entity settlement agreement and Sackler release.
So moved.
Second.
Did you get that, clerk?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve a resolution relating to the 2025 Franklin County tax rates for real and personal property, aircraft, watercraft, non-commercial, and 2026 tax rates for the motor vehicle and watercraft.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve a resolution relating to 2025 Franklin County tax rate of insurance capital and bank deposits to be used for general government.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to authorize the treasurer to open a certificate of deposit for $1.5 million for 9 months on behalf of the Fiscal Court to improve investment earnings and authorize the treasurer to renew this CD at maturity at the best rate until the funds are needed.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to authorize the treasurer to open a certificate of deposit for $400,000 for 6 months on behalf of the fiscal court to improve investment earnings, and authorize the treasurer to renew the CD at maturity at the best rate until funds are needed.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve the agreement with First Federal Savings Bank of Kentucky to guarantee deposits for amounts greater than $250,000, the FDIC limit, in accordance with KRS 41.240, the Public Funds Law.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. First reading of amendment number 1 to ordinance number 4-2025 relating to budget for fiscal year 2025-2026. No vote will be taken at this time. Authorization to receive treasurer's report.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Payment of claims as amended. Is there a motion to deny any claim? No motion was made. Let the record reflect claims are to be paid. Authorization to approve a promotion of Eric Mertz to rank of Assistant Fire Chief.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Judge, I'm going to recuse myself from the vote.
Okay, did you get that, clerk?
Yes.
Motion passes. Authorization to approve a promotion of Brandon Redding to rank of Captain.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve a promotion of Jacob Tolles to the rank of Captain.
So moved.
Second.
Did you get that, clerk?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve a promotion of Josh Degnan to the rank of, what is it? Dagan, thank you, to the promotion, rank of engineer.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to hire Logan Good as a firefighter.
So moved.
Oh, go ahead, jump in.
I need to abstain from this vote.
Okay,
I'll second.
did you get that, clerk? We have first and a second, Squire Harris and Squire Wisman.
Yes.
1, 2. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Before we adjourn, I want to congratulate the 3 gentlemen that retired from Franklin County Fire Department tonight. We wish them all the well in the world for their retirement, and we also want to congratulate all these gentlemen here that just got promotions, so everybody should be proud.
Can I say something really quickly?
Sure.
We need to be really careful here. Constantly saying our community thinks or our community wants. We don't know what our community thinks and wants. There are segments of the community that want particular things. Squire Wisman and I have talked to 2 different segments of people. I just think we need to be really careful when we say that as a general, because it isn't true. Thank you.
Thank you. Authorization to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Thank you.